6, 7, 8. Quorum.
Yep.
All right, good. I'll call the meeting to order. I'm hoping that everybody has read
I have
the
that we have
minutes.
11. We have 11 participants, Rick. So Joan must be here.
I see Joan. Hey, Joan.
Oh, I see. I don't see Joan's.
I don't see her, but
face.
see audio.
All right. That's great. As long as Randy gets the attendance and we have a quorum, everything is good.
Yep.
All righty. Meeting called to order, late, 7:08. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes from last month's meetings? And besides the 2 corrections that Randy noted, is there anything else? Because they are formally entered in for consideration. Okay, hearing none, I call for a motion to adopt the minutes from the August meeting of 2020. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, opposition, abstinence. That's your problem, not mine. Abstaining. All right, hearing none, we have adopted the minutes from the last meeting, and we're going to move on to the director's report from Vicki Wills. Vicki, when's the last time your hair was this long?
And now it goes way up high, and it was cooler today, but it's falling down as the night goes on.
There you go.
So we did do the binocular astronomy, and that was a lot of fun if you came. And if you stayed to the very, very end, he actually rearranged one of the binocular lenses on top of his telescope. And it was just really magnificent.
Yeah, it was great. I went, it was great. We had a really good time.
Nice, very
And
nice.
Christy was there with her boys, and yeah, so that was cool. We had 5 kids, 4 youth, 27 total people.
That's a pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
So,
That's very nice turnout for COVID times.
yeah, for any time.
Yeah,
And,
right?
So we got the census grant that's come through too, which was, it was a great idea, and it really needs to be done. It is taking some extra work because we weren't able to use one, like Rowan was the person who was going to designate, and we were going to have him here on different hours. Anyways, all that got thrown out with the COVID. So we still got the award just last month. And it has to be all completed by the end of this month. So signage is one thing. And anyways, so we're working on that.
All right, just a quick note. As somebody who took the oath to protect the Constitution and in becoming an enumerator for the Census Bureau, I want to make sure that everybody here has already filled out their census form and sent it in online, or the paper version that came to your door, whichever. Everybody say yes. And if not yes,
Yes.
say
Yes.
Yours.
However, may I speak for a second? In our little hamlet here, we've had census takers keep coming because apparently those of us who have PO boxes, I don't know anybody else who's had this issue, but several of our neighbors have. Because our address at the post office is North Chatham, but they have us listed as Valatia. So the census takers keep coming, and they keep telling us that we haven't answered, but we have.
okay.
So just so you know, if that's an issue and they come to your door and they say they haven't received one, tell them that they may have the address wrong.
Okay, you know what? I'll make a note of that at the census office too, because I'm an official enumerator now. I'm in the middle of the training. I'm going to go knocking on doors. I chose to do Hudson, including the Bliss Towers. So, onward. I am thrilled to hear that everybody's already partaken. So, Yeah, as soon as I took that oath, I had this strange urge come over me to go down to DC and start making citizens arrests. So, all right. Continue on, Vicki. Sorry I interrupted.
So I'm really glad that everybody is, on board with the census grant too. And I mean, I think that's where the library was coming from, or at least I thought that we should be supporting that and getting the word out as much as we can. I'm trying, you had to have it broken down on what you were going to use the money for. And I still have the hopes that I'm going to have a a Spanish speaking person be able to go to some of the places around here. That's what I'm working on.
That's great.
Anybody here speak Spanish fairly fluently? Lots of shaking heads. All righty. I'm amongst you.
Oh,
All right. Well,
wait, what about Mike and Claudia?
Good idea.
I've got Guillermo and Jody working on it.
I wonder if Mike's
For them.
I'll ask Mike if his Spanish is very Filipino or if his Spanish is more universal.
What about Guillermo?
I'm in touch with Guillermo and Jody. I'm in touch with them about it. I'm hoping that they thought that they could help us out, and so that's where.
That's great. That's great.
Good. So the other big thing that we're doing at the library is working with ICC school. So we talked with the principal, and she really is, trying to get all 3 libraries to come in. And so we agreed to come in once a week for, I don't know how long, for a half an hour, basically, at the end of the day, because we couldn't come in till 2. So we're going to be going in once a week, and I'm not sure what we're really going to be doing. I think we're outside with a face mask reading, or if I can work up some, it's really hard because you can't even do crafts and stuff, and I have, to go along with the book. So anyways, we're going to go there.
You'll all brainstorm together.
So, Vicki,
and
I
come up
guess
with something brilliant.
This could be
Sorry,
considered a literacy program.
Yeah.
Yep, and collaboration. Partnering.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So everything else pretty straightforward. It'll be, well, I should tell you, meetings, marketing meeting, the COVID updates, directors meeting, Columbia County Library Association. That's tomorrow morning. Trainings, getting started with Instagram. I did this week. Thank you, Kim, for that kind of contact through SUNY. It's from the small business. Oops, I didn't put the rest of that in there, Randy, where we are.
What is
It's
the rest?
It's a small business center development.
Small
What is it,
Business
Kim?
Development, I forget it, Center, there we go, SBDC, out of SUNY, and they do fabulous webinars for trying to help small businesses. They did a great series about the PPP loans, for example.
Oh, very cool.
And now they're trying to help people. Okay, you have to adapt. You're going to have to be going online to do retail maybe. So they're doing webinars about that. And one of them was getting started with Instagram. And I was like, well, we're not trying to sell shoes, but we are trying to sell the library through Instagram. So I passed that on.
So I did that yesterday, and I got it because I attended it. I'll have access to the webinar, so I'll be able to pass that to Greg
Oh,
also.
good.
Yeah. And he's
I'd like to
gotten a
see that.
training. He also had a training with Sierra.
I'd like to see that.
Oh, you would? Okay. I'll remember. Another training on the knowledge base. Let me see. At the library. I want to remind everybody that all the meetings that you have, whether they're finance or arts and culture, any meetings count as meetings that are part of the library. And so we want to record those in our annual report. So we need to know the day they happened and how many people attended. And so just email me that.
Do they have to take place at the library? We're having.
No.
Okay, so I have a few more for you then.
Yeah. And at the library, the memoir group, been here, sometimes in the back garden, sometimes on Zoom, meeting with Sandy, Citizens Be Heard, Arts and Culture Committee. I know they did. So then we get into more computer stuff. The Sierra upgrades. The Sierra is the big program that connects all of the 66 libraries. And they've gotten more and more complex, as you can imagine. It's a very complex thing anyways. So we had to go to an IP address, a static IP address, and we did that. It took 5 hours of my time, and we were down for one day. We had to have Spectrum come here also to fix. So we do have a public computer in the little library. We did have to add a booster to make it faster, better connection out there. And we've got that all done now. Everything's working well.
Beautiful.
Then the last things that we're still working on, our circulation, people coming, is still down. And I think it's largely due to just all those browsers aren't able to come in. And we're still working on working towards getting 5-minute appointments. I hope to have patrons come in. Quite a few of the libraries now are doing that. Some of them a lot more open than we do. I just ordered a 3-foot plexiglass folded. It's 3 foot, and then it's got 2 edges too. You've seen them lots of places, and that's going to go up front also.
Vicki, has there been a demand for the little library?
But yes, people are using it, and it slowly catches on.
And that helps a little bit because they're on their own and out of the building. Is that working out sort of?
It is just to have another place for people to be able to get onto public computers, because the people who really need them are people who can't afford the computer or the internet access. So, I don't know what we'll do in the middle of the winter, but for right now, it's still all working fine. It's still summer. Let's not worry about winter.
And I assume you have to go in there after each person uses it and do a whole sanitizing thing?
Actually asking people to use a hand sanitizer before they use it. And there are wipes in there and for them to wipe it down afterwards.
Okay, good.
We haven't had so much of a run to have one right after another.
Let's just make sure to ask them to be considerate by using the hand wipes to wipe everything down they might have touched.
Yep. Get a sign out there.
That'd be great. Yeah, I think my libertarian streak is showing here. I really think we should be asking people to be responsible for themselves instead of cleaning up after them.
Right. Problem you run into is just one person's definition of responsible is not the same as another.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But for all we know, Vicki Wills sucks at it too.
What? You don't know that.
I mean, so if you assign it to her and she does a crappy job, we're in the same place as if somebody else does. So I'm not saying that's the case, obviously. Good. But I'm just saying, if somebody takes the time, you'd think they'd be considerate enough to do a decent job.
You would think.
When we go to dog training, we're required to bring our own cleaning materials and toilet paper and paper towels in case we use the restroom. But we did have somebody use it, and he didn't sanitize it. She had to send him back in to sanitize it.
All right.
Even though she's told us over and over again.
You have to bring your own toilet paper?
Yep, your own toilet paper, paper towels, and Lysol spray. And you're supposed to clean it yourself after you leave, anything you touched.
What is this?
At dog training.
Oh.
But she said she can't take a break in the middle of dog training to clean after us. So we have to clean after ourselves. And we had the first person use it during class, and she had to send him back. He didn't take his bag of stuff with him and clean. He just went in and used the bathroom, so she had to send him back to clean. So I don't know. He forgot, I guess.
Dog training.
And the dogs don't have to do any of that.
No. Oh no, they have to go to the bathroom before they get there, because you get in big trouble if your dog goes to the bathroom on her property.
Wow. But you know, dogs have gotten COVID, as have cats. Very
And
interesting.
horses.
Horses too.
Yep. My brother had one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She said that dogs have gotten COVID for years. So I'm guessing maybe there's more than one kind of COVID. Because she said dogs
They're all
have gotten so many.
COVID is a type of coronavirus, and there are a bunch
Right.
of them.
This one just happens to be 19, the one that we have. But my brother did have a horse that tested positive.
Wow.
Yep.
Did he
I don't know
A
what ended up
long
happening.
nostril.
I don't know.
Ooh. For those of you who've had the test, you know why I'm doing this. Oh my goodness. All right. Sorry, Vicky. Vicky, this crew is so outstanding at having fun with, you know, caveats and anyway. Carry on, please.
I'm all done.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me pull this back up. Hold on.
On Finance Committee.
All right. Christy never got to join?
No.
Okay. Then I have a piece of finance news, which is I finally cleared out the last 2 accounts at Key Bank. And I meant to drive straight to Columbia Green to do it, but it was like 5 of 4. Used my phone to find out they were closing in 5 minutes. The short version of the story is 5 days later, the checks are still in the front seat of my car waiting to go to Columbia Green. So tomorrow is a weekday. I'll make that happen tomorrow. We're out of Key Bank except for our credit card. I'm transferring over $7,000, almost $9,000 to Columbia Green.
What's Columbia Green?
That is now our new primary bank.
You mean
There's a
Green
bank
County,
called
don't you?
Columbia
Green County.
Green?
Green County.
You
Green
mean the
County.
Bank of Green County?
Yeah.
That's it. That one.
Okay, okay.
I'm not donating. Right. I'm not donating the money to the community college.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering.
You know what? It's getting dark. Should I go inside? All right. Okay. And other than that, we have lots of money still, just like we always have. Not as much as we used to have, but you know, we're not hurting. The appeal letters in its first draft, I typically take about 3 drafts maybe before I share it with others. I have in mind to share it with Julie, Kim, Dale, and who else would like to see the first draft?
Rick,
Oh,
I think you
would,
should
Rick.
share it with Christy because she supplied a lot of details by email.
That's exactly the fourth
Yeah.
person. Thank you. All right. So,
And
all right. Thank you for reminding me of who that person was. So the way I write, you know, I start with an outline. And by the way, the emails from Christy, Kim, and why am I blanking? Because I'm a blanker. Who else sent me a long email on the, Julie. So thank you very much, because those are the backbone of the outline I built. And then I go from an outline to, you know, an expanded outline, which turns into paragraphs, and then I start cutting and pasting paragraphs. So I'm hoping to have it done within the next week to 10 days. But having signed up as an enumerator and they're putting intense pressure on me to go bang on doors, I'm starting to run a little thin. But what did Bilbo Baggins say? Like a pat of butter spread too thin over toast. Anyway, I'll get there. Okay, I guess that's it for finance. Oh, and Christy's continue. How many of you have heard from Christy on? Well, don't tell me how many. But Christy will be reaching out to you about budgeting for 2021.
She got me and I answered her already.
Outstanding. Julie too? Good. All right. Mark, you and I should talk about what goes into buildings and grounds and get Christy some info.
Rick, I also think it would be good for marketing.
conference with her to go over a bunch of details that were in my head, and we have not done that yet, so.
Okay. Dottie,
Rick, I also,
marketing,
yeah, marketing should have a line too.
I agree.
Yeah.
And we'll bring that up in the marketing report in just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Rick, just so I make sure I got this right, so Rick, Christie's reaching out to people for the 2021 budget?
Yes.
yeah.
At least that's what she reached out for me.
Yep.
She wanted my best guess on income.
Thank you.
All right. Terrific. I'm looking at the minutes from the last meeting as opposed to the agenda. No news on the 414 campaign. Let me see if I can get back to the agenda. Here we go. All right. Dale, hero of the day. You're up. You're still muted.
You're muted.
Dale, you're
Yeah,
up.
muted, yeah.
So we are very early on. We're talking to some new people, and Marshall is all in. We've spoken to her. She is
The bonds.
full on board with it. And right now we're sort of gathering ideas. Who wants what? We're talking about some new things, old things reimagined, which is good.
Yes, it is.
And we're kind of coming back together. We're going to reconvene end of the month, and we'll report back in September.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I think we're tabling the traveling dinner.
Mhm.
We're tabling Chase the Chill, and we're going to see what happens for wine tasting in the spring. Is
Perfect.
it new? Is it a new vendor? Is it a whole new way? We're
Yeah.
coming back. We're coming back. Yeah, we'll see.
You know, of all the events we do, I think wine tasting is the one that has gone most stale.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with Randy's efforts.
No.
It's just none at all. But it's just the formula that Randy was handed, I feel, has kind of run its course. Although, you know, the fact of the matter is people keep coming. It's kind of amazing. I'm like, I don't really like this event anymore, but they keep coming anyway. So I'm like, good on you.
No, and I think Randy and I were talking earlier today, and I think there is room for improvement, and there's room for change. There's a way to do this differently, but the same. You know, I think we can get the same outcome in a different way, and I we'll talk about it. It's part of the agenda, but I think we'll get there. So there's no doubt that we'll get to something very similar for wine tasting.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Dale, will you make sure I know about when that call is? I promise to be just an interested attendee as opposed to somebody dominating conversation.
Yeah, you can't talk, so no.
Oh, damn, brother. All right. I'll own that. I'll own it.
No
It's all fair.
speaking. You're a silent person. But I would kind of love to do it in person if we can make a meeting happen adjacently somewhere outside. That would be great.
Yes.
I think that's way, way, way beneficial if we can do it. But if it's a Zoom, it's a Zoom. That's fine. But we're gonna come together at the end of September, and we'll you'll be included.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
And I do promise to just take it all in, be an observer, and learn how this committee's starting to come together since it's been reimagined.
You'll be muted.
You'll just mute. You'll be the controller of the mute button.
Thank you. Yes.
Smart move.
Love you.
All right. Dale, should we pass the baton to Dottie on marketing?
Yes.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And
Yes.
thank you
Company.
for taking on this role.
Yeah. Of course.
Yes.
And
You
thank
came out of the
Kim.
blocks running hard. I like that.
I love that note.
Yeah.
Running hard.
Yeah, right.
Why not? Now is the
Why-
time. Run
Amen,
hard.
amen. Yes,
Do
yes.
it.
Preach it,
Why
brother.
not?
Great
Why
about
not?
And
The,
I'd like to honor Kim's service running that committee for all these years.
Oh,
she was handed a bunch of events that were pre-programmed and made the most out of them.
Okay.
So I think that was awesome.
That's the only reason it worked as long as it did is because every one of those events has the best person running it. That's why I really had nothing to do.
But now, weren't you just a little relieved when Dale said he would take over?
Oh, I'll tell you, beyond excited because it's a different job now,
Yeah.
and he's the perfect person for that job.
Yeah.
You're so diplomatic.
No, it's,
I think so.
if the train is on the track, I am a great engineer, but now
Right.
we need to lay new track.
Right.
It's a different job. No,
We're landing
it's good.
soon.
It's perfect.
Hold on.
No, it's great.
Just awesome. Thank you. Thank you both.
We got it.
And on that high note, we're going over to Dottie.
Okay.
For
The
some
marketing
reason, Dottie is gray and everybody else is in color.
Huh.
It's a
See if I can fix that.
I think your printer's out of ink or something.
Did
No,
that
don't
help?
worry about
Now I'm a lighter gray.
it. Yeah, I think so. What do I look like in the dark?
You look like a silhouette.
I can see you now. Yeah.
Okay.
So the marketing committee met with Isaac. We handed him what was a 12-page marketing plan that long ago had been pulled together. And God bless him, he distilled it down to 3 pages with bullet points, and it's very understandable. And I think we're not going to show you what's on it now. I think Rick wants to wait maybe the next meeting and sort of reveal it, if you will. But Isaac worked hard on that. We had a good meeting, and he's got that back to us. So there's that piece, which I think is exciting. The other thing, as Rick mentioned, I think the marketing committee needs a budget line item because we are, we want to contract with I guess I don't know whether you call it a webmaster or not, but we need his services as we go along.
Yeah, so can I just jump in, Dottie, for a second?
Yeah, I wanted you to, so jump on in, boy.
So what we've asked Isaac to do after discussing it with him, because he really did pull together a very nice little 3-pager for us, and we talked through what all those items would be and how we would go about handling them. And so what I asked Isaac for was, how often do you think we could contract with you to check in, see how things are going, and see if we need to make any adjustments? And so we're going to either meet with him quarterly or thirdly, but I know there's a Latin word. I know the Latin word, but I just can't pronounce it. So we're going to meet with him 3 or 4 times a year just to review where we are. And I think that's important for a committee like this because none of us are marketing experts. But it will also keep our feet to the fire on fulfilling anything that we agreed we would do. If we know we've got a meeting with Isaac coming up and we got to tell him how it worked out. So it's almost, the contracting with him is almost as much as about us, the committee, keeping up with what we need to do to really seriously market the library in a positive way. And of course, this is taking on additional importance as we think about the next 414 in 2020, as we think about the capital campaign for the edition. Marketing is going to be what is the point of the spear on both of those issues. So if you know that expression. So it's a violent one, but it usually works for people. And that's what I got, Dottie. I didn't necessarily want to break down the details. We'll do that when we present Isaac's 3-page plan.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to. And I assume we should talk with Christy about a budget line.
Yep. And Isaac, what 3 or 4 meetings a year would cost us?
Okay.
Yep.
Vicki, do you have anything on the website from your work with Isaac?
Vicki, you're muted.
You're muted. Muted.
I don't even know
Thank
she
you.
muted.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you,
Yeah.
I was asking you,
I heard you. I haven't, I
You
know
had
he's
it-
gonna send us some stuff
Anything you
to
want-
look over, the links and the updates on the marketing thing, but we haven't gotten anything yet from him, from our meeting. Just that was
Yeah, we
the
have.
beginning of the week.
Yeah, we have. He sent
Oh, you've
us.
gotten it? Oh,
He sent
Yeah,
us the
yeah.
revised 3-pager.
I don't have that, so.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh,
Or Dottie, would you
I'll send it to you, Vicki. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll
Beautiful.
send it.
Thank you. All
And I
right.
thought he wanted us to do links on the webpage to go through those things again. And that was to be done by the 15th and then to go live by the 23rd, I thought.
Yeah, that all sounds good to me. So we got 5 days to check on the links and 8 days
Yes.
until the new website goes live.
But he has to send the links. I don't have them.
That's the email you're talking about, as opposed to the revised plan.
The 3-page,
The
yeah.
marketing
Yeah.
is nice too, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
like that.
Dottie,
No,
send
but
her
they're
the
one.
Dottie, send her the 3-pager and remind Isaac to send Vicki the links, please.
I can't get it done in one day. You got to give me time.
Yeah, we got 5. So or now 4. So hopefully we can get him to him tomorrow.
And what was the date the website's supposed to be revealed, or I guess, or,
23rd?
okay, that is, yeah, all right, okay.
Vicki, did you say that people on the board, is it only the marketing committee that's going to review the new website for a short period of time?
It's up to Dottie. It's not mine.
I don't care. I just wanted to make sure I got it in the minutes correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, I
I'll-
think it's just the marketing committee, yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
16
Yeah.
ideas was not the way to go.
Yeah, having 15 board members weigh in on a website sounds like a migraine.
Yep.
Didn't we already do it too?
15.
Sorry, Rick.
Say what?
Didn't we already do it? We brought it to the board one time and went over the whole thing. once.
Yeah, we showed him the face
Mhm.
without the links. That's
Yeah.
right. We showed him the front page, which is very pretty, very pretty, but without all the the attached links that would take them deeper into what we're building. All right. Anything else on marketing, Dottie, or
No.
anybody else on the board?
Oh,
Excellent. Hey, Mark, will you fill us in on the steps that we've been taking both with the parking lot and preparing to have visitors inside the library building itself?
Okay, yep. I'm up then.
Yep.
On the boundary line, we have a contractor scheduled to put in the balance of the fence in the rear. They'll parallel the rear additional parking and stop there. And then Rick has been working on a plan with the DeAngelises to sort of have a landscaping solution to that zone between the two fences, which I think will look a lot better than 200 feet of fence. So far, so good on that. We hope to install the fence in early October. And the landscaping, we may get to this year. Rick's working on that. He might have more data on that. It'd be nice if we can get it done and dusted and look good in the spring.
Yes, that's exactly right. Can I jump in, Mark, before
sure,
you
go
go to
ahead.
the building?
Go ahead. Yep. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So I asked Ingrid Kolofny, or sometimes known by her husband's name, Ingrid Berenson, whose husband is the principal or the superintendent in New Lebanon. Vicki, which is he? Do you know?
I thought he was a principal, I heard, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I think
He's the principal, and his name is Flynn, and her name is whatever, Burns.
Berenson.
That's it.
Oh, wow. I had that completely backwards. Okay. She drew up plans, very basic, very basic. She's a landscape architect for New York State at the Department of Environmental Conservation. And she drew up very basic plans, which Jim and Priscilla approved of. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm meeting with the first of a number of landscapers I'm asking to bid on the project, including calendars. And I'm counting on calendars to come in with a number that makes the rest of the bids look good. So that's continuing to move forward. The DeAngelises would really like to get this done. Pete Van Alstyne, the surveyor, is dropping off 5 copies of the lot line adjustment that would be required by the town planning board, the county planning department, and then copies for both the library and the DeAngelises. So when I have those plans, I'm meeting with the planning board chair next week sometime. I reached out to her today to ask for a time and a date. We'll get those approved by they've been approved by the planning board. Where things went south, if you'll remember, the DeAngelises could not get a lien removed from the property, and the county would not file the final plans without that lien removed. So the DeAngelises have moved forward with clearing that lien, and now I can get the planning board, town of Chatham planning board to sign it, Columbia County planning department to sign it and file it, and then it will be complete. So I'm hoping that all happens in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If everybody, does their part besides me, and that'll be done. And then by the time the fence goes in and the landscaping work starts, we'll own the property outright. So we'll be in good shape. That's that update. All right, kicking it back to you, Mark, to talk about what we've done to the building.
Okay, what the remediation on our system, we changed the filter from, you're familiar with filtering in a house, there's a MERV system, they have different numbers, and it goes from basic dust up to sort of hospital level commitment of filtering. So we swapped out, we had a MERV 6, and if you look this chart up, you'll get a better understanding if you care. We went to a MERV 13 in our heat and AC furnace. So now at least that can catch virus particles, they say. So that's about as far as we could go with the equipment we had, because it would put too much of a load on it if you restrict it too much. So I felt good about that. We may have to change the filters a little earlier. It'll cost us a little more money, but it seems like a smart step where we're at. We also added a bolt-on piece of equipment made by Aris. It's called an air scrubber, and it goes into one of the plenums, and all the air that goes through the system goes by this unit. I couldn't explain it well how it works, but you can look it up, air scrubber by Aris, and it uses UV light, and it has a photocatalyst, and it creates oxygen particles that attack viruses and all the bad stuff. And it's supposed to work. We don't know about COVID, but it does work on other RNA. They say, the documentation, other RNA viruses, it has proved effective. So we think
I'll jump in, Mark.
Go ahead.
So it has both the UV light, which if any air is exposed to UV for more than, say, 7 or 8 seconds, will have killed any living, including our, live virus with UV. But if that doesn't work, what Mark's talking about, the second thing it does, it has an ionizer. And an ionizer takes and breaks down oxygen particles and pulls it off, say, in this case, a live virus. And by stripping the oxygen, like H2O, if you look at the chemical composition, when you strip oxygen out of that equation, the structure breaks down and falls apart. So we're going after it with UV, and we're going after it with the ionizer. And if that doesn't work, we've got the MERV 13, right? Filters on there. Yep.
So yeah, I think we, it feels pretty good. I think we're a lot better off than we were for not a lot of money really. And we'll see how it goes. We will never really know, but I'm very confident.
I did some research on this, on how to best handle this for buildings. And, after sorting through malls and things like the Palace Theater and the YMCA, I finally got down to some smaller buildings. And essentially the advice was throw everything at it. Just grab as many different things. And when Mark and I talked about all the different options, this was our equivalent of throwing everything at it for a building our size. There's not really another step we could take except to replace our furnace and air conditioner with different units that would allow for a higher MERV level. And that just seemed like complete overkill. So, we're coming up under new business. Oh, it didn't make it in here. So we're going to talk about plans for, under new business, for opening the library for browsing on an appointment basis. And probably 15-minute increments for those appointments. And we feel pretty good about doing that because of these steps that we've taken. Actually, I feel very good about it. Person will still be wearing a mask. They'll still be but they'll be allowed to wander around the library anywhere there's materials you can check out. And only be there for 15-minute increments while they're browsing. So if they come for 15 minutes, they don't find what they want more time, they should immediately take a 15-minute break and make another 15-minute appointment. Does that make sense to folks?
Yes, and how much time do you have between patrons coming in?
Should be 15 minutes. And 15 minutes would give enough time for the filter and the unit, the UV ionizer unit, to do its work.
So when we make the appointments, there'll be 15 minutes between each appointment when no one's in the library?
Well, the staff maybe.
Except the staff, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're proposing, yes.
Okay.
And who's doing the cleaning in that 15 minutes? Vicky doesn't have there's a lot to do beside clean.
There's no cleaning.
There's no.
So in other words, if somebody's browsing for books, we don't have to run around behind them, wiping everything behind them, because we put the UV ionizer and the filters in. And they were wearing a mask.
And sin.
And they hand sanitized on the way in the door.
Yeah. Okay.
And hand sanitized on the way out the door.
And if they use the bathroom, are we going to ask them to sanitize when they leave?
Yes, there's a protocol there.
Okay.
There's a protocol. It'll be listed in the bathroom. And we'll tell them that if they don't follow the protocol, we're going to take their library card, shred it, and shove it up their nose.
Okie dokie. Sounds good.
As an added future filter. So, but there is part of this where we cannot babysit everybody all the time. You just can't go through life doing that. So we're going to put up signs saying, be, considerate, be polite, don't be rude, wipe the bathroom down with these hand wipes that we're giving you, and wash your hands before you go back out to browsing. And that's really, that's really a very solid program in my mind. I think library patrons will probably be very considerate people. I think the people that want to browse are going to be so happy that we're letting them browse that they'll probably wash their hands twice.
Well,
So,
hopefully they won't use the bathroom a lot when they're only in there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
and that's true too.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other thoughts on this before we move on? Any
I just have one
concern?
more thing on the building envelope that Vicky and I talked about. One other thing, and I would mention it for anyone that's thinking about their own place or some other building that they work in. You know, one of the things for this thing this new equipment to really work, the air needs to move. And when a furnace isn't being called for heat or AC, the fans are not on. But you have an option to turn the fan on all the time, not slave to the thermostat.
That's
So
right.
Vicki and I we're going to use that more, and the cost is a penalty of running it electrically. But if we use that more when people are there, maybe the whole time people are in and out, probably makes some sense because we're really maximizing what we've already done. So she and I have talked about that. We're trying to figure out how to get it done, maybe a time or two. But that's another good thing, to have that fan on and running, and then everything's working as well as it can for us.
That's right. And I've asked Vicky that while the weather is good, to not only run the ceiling fans all the time, but also to open as many windows as possible, especially once, I mean, I asked her to do it while staff is there too. But while the weather's good, we should also do it for these 15-minute appointments.
Yeah, I saw something on TV that said opening a couple of windows so you have a cross ventilation greatly decreased your chances of getting the virus. So,
I mean, you know, before we get between a vaccine and everybody else dying to herd immunity, the weather will change and those windows will have to close. But I'm counting on the fact that the heat will be running once it gets cold too. So even though we're going to have to close the windows, the ceiling fans will continue. The heating system with the improvements we put in it will run. And again, 15 minutes with a mask on.
Hey,
Are we
Mark.
all comfortable? Okay.
Yep.
Questions?
Wait,
Go ahead.
wait, Mark, can you send me the name of the ionizing, the
Yes.
ionizer
Yes.
can model?
Okay.
I'm not going to put in the minutes. I just want to check to make sure it's not something that produces ozone. Do you know if
Oh,
It says no ozone on the data. That's what I remember.
it does say that? Okay, great.
Why don't you actually just send her the data sheet?
I'll send you the link and you can look it all up.
Great. Thanks for looking into that too, thinking about that. I know when I worked at the Department of Health, a lot of people get these air purifiers and they don't realize that they're actually generating ozone indoors, which continues to aggravate their respiratory system. So I'm glad we
Wow.
thought about that.
Abby bought one of those home for college. Now I got to go Google that unit after this meeting. All right. So Vicky's showing everybody the box it came in. Thank you, Vanna
I
White.
didn't write it down. I couldn't see it all that well.
Yeah.
Well, between Mark and Vicky, you'll get what you need, Randy. Okay. All right. That was an outstanding Vanna White job, Vicky.
Yeah.
By the way. All right. Other people have points and questions. I see Carol. I see Kim. I see Carol and Kim. All right. Kim, why don't you go first since you're on top of Carol in my pyramid here.
Okay, I'm just curious, Vicki, have you heard of any issues with other libraries who are allowing patrons in with patrons not wearing masks?
no. I don't know if Poughkeepsie has had to use bouncers. I don't know. They're the biggest one, but no, there's nothing in the feed. I think they just wouldn't let them in. You see people come in, they've got people right at the front.
Yep. Unlike people at Stewart's and Cumberland Farms and Mario's, I think library patrons, will be appreciative of the effort that we've gone to open the library for them. And I just don't expect that to be a problem, Kim. But if it is,
My
If
hairdresser
it is,
has been spat at and threatened for insisting that her customers wear a mask
who's the-
down in Valatia at the hair zone. She actually had to leave the
wow.
salon because she felt so unsafe with one of her customers because he was so mad about having to wear a mask. So.
why didn't you just stick scissors in his hair?
Huh, jeez.
I mean, he earned it.
He left with long hair, that's all.
Okay. Carol, you had questions as well.
Yeah, I don't know if, I was going to do the ELIC report. I had in there is that we can go to, unless Liz has already gone to them, what used to be the Kindle Bank is now Community Bank. And I was wondering if there's a product we'd want to buy that would help with COVID. I think that's the kind of thing they would fund. We're not talking about money. I know in the past you can,
Time out. Liz, you're muted, but I see your mouth moving.
Yeah, I
Okay.
requested
Wait
money
for-
from them.
Okay. Did you ask for anything in particular?
I told them that we had lost all of our funding from our fundraisers and that we had extra expenses because of COVID. And they called 2 weeks ago and asked me for a W-9, which Christy signed for me, and I sent it to them. And they said they needed that to disperse funds. So I don't know how much they're going to give us. They didn't say, but it sounds like they're going to give us something.
Nice.
Who is
We'll
this?
see.
so
Liz,
this
who
is the
this?
community bank you went to.
Yeah, Community Bank, yeah.
Okay.
I had to write to somebody I knew down there because they didn't have anything online like Kinderhook did.
Yeah, I know. I think I'll check. I think you can apply for more than one thing. I'll call up, I'll talk to the woman in Chatham, Donna Casey, who knows everything about the bank. See if we.
Carol, tell her, I'm sorry. Tell her we've already spent the money on those two items, the filter and the UV oxidizer.
Yeah, though those are, it's generally no good.
What is no good?
It's already been spent. I mean, I can ask, but I think you know that, Rick, that's not standard. It has.
No, but there'll be more expenses.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No,
Well,
I
It's
understand.
an ongoing expense too.
I think the first thing to find out if we can go back for more than, but they didn't ask you to itemize anything. They didn't say what.
No, they just asked for the W-9.
Okay.
Well, Carol, if
They're
you're
very
asking to
easy,
go,
very easy grant proposal.
if they're going to take a second proposal from us, it will because they've decided to put an emphasis on COVID-19. And
Yeah,
if they've decided to put an emphasis on COVID-19, I know a lot. I know that asking for post spending is usually a no-go, but I'm almost betting with COVID-19, it's worth mentioning.
let's see. All right, let's see. I'll ask, and unless we want to wait, see what happens with Liz.
Well, it seems like the check hasn't come in yet, but I think, when did we have, Vicky, that class, when did we look at the stars? What was the date of that? Do you remember? Like 2
Yeah.
weeks ago, maybe?
Yes,
2 weeks
at
ago, I
least 10
think.
days. At least 10.
20th. Yeah, August 20th.
Okay, so they would have gotten, I sent it to her within a couple of days in an email, and then I followed it up with the paper copy of the W-9 a few days after that. So, and we haven't heard back, but it sounded like they were going to give us some money if they wanted a W-9. She said, I can't disperse the funds without a W-9.
All right, so now I look at the agenda a little deeper, Carol. I see that you've got that in mind for ELIC as well. So why don't you carry on with your ELIC report, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, this is quick. As we talked last week, I have an ad in our town, the monthly that serves the northern part of the community, as well as a story. And she made me shorten both, and we're negotiating on the price. And I'm about to place ads in the Columbia paper and the Chatham magazine. I'll work with Kim. Kim saw what, my edit, she gave me some good edits on it. I'll send that in. And as you remember, that's what we're doing, mailing out the brochures.
Yep.
Because we don't have the costs of postage or the mailing or any of those kind of things. So we're all set with our fall program. I just wanted to tell you very quickly, you may or may not, pre-COVID, we have a new grant that started this fall from the Fund for Columbia County for ELIC called Wellness for Us. And we have our spring programs. I don't know if you want to hear them or not, but they're all
Yes.
quickly. We're starting with the TED Talk we did, our first TED Talk on how to live to 100. Dottie moderated that, must have been 4 or 5 years ago now. Where, what are communities like where people really live to 100? And it focuses mostly on nutrition and social connectedness. And it's a great theory to start.
Yogurt.
I'm sorry?
I was just joking about back in the day how everybody said the reason the Russians in the Ural Mountains lived so long was because they invented yogurt. Sorry, go ahead.
That's not in it, Rick, sorry. The next one is a balance section. That's going to be done on Zoom in terms of wellness. Then we're doing something on loneliness. I think you've heard me say that loneliness is a great health risk. And we're doing 2 walks. One is, remember last time I mentioned the book that Jenny Berkmeyer had written about our little library? And we're going to ask George Volmuth to join Jenny and have a walk through the library talking about all the places she mentions in the book. It'll be a fascinating little thing. And then we're doing an outside walk for exercise with, we don't know, probably the Land Conservancy. We're doing a program on sleep. And those are our wellness activities. And in the end, we're doing a little of the memoir group. We're hoping that hoping till May, maybe by next May, we can do it live because that's so much fun to do live.
That would be awesome if it's true.
So we're there. We're really, the committee's awesome. So we're good.
That's awesome to hear.
But you'll start seeing ads for the fall programs coming up, and they're all Zoom.
Carol, you could probably pull off that memoir group thing outside in May.
That was the idea.
That would be fun.
That was the idea. If we're not done by May, I don't know if any of us will have any hair left.
I've gone to that and it was good.
But hopefully by next May, we'll be good. And that was exactly what the thinking was. The other question I wanted to ask is that another COVID expense that would help with ELIC and Julie's program is to work on some kind of outdoor microphone system. Because that's really, I know we have something, Kim, I need to talk about that. And if there's a point in updating it or getting something simpler. Because we have a huge space outside. In nice weather, we could have a really nice sit-down distance program if we had a mic. So that's something else I've been playing with new funding, because it's also COVID related.
Yeah. Julie?
I think I mentioned last time that through the Greene County Council on the Arts, they may let you apply for equipment you need because of COVID. And Vicki was suggesting to me that it would be good to have some sort of simple to set up outdoor sound system. But I need to get back to them to see if that qualifies. So I haven't done that yet, but I'll let you know, Carol, if I'm able to look there.
Julie, would you also ask, while you're asking about a sound system, about a screen that could either be used for, like just a projector for like we would do for an indoor program, or even to project a movie or some other learning program besides a movie onto a screen that can be set up outdoors.
Okay, I will.
Those 2 things would be an awesome addition. During COVID and quite honestly, beyond. Kim.
Even after COVID, but.
Oh, all
I
right.
have a friend who has an inflatable movie screen. It's like $200. What?
Inflatable.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can just put it away when you don't need it.
I think
So
that's
somebody with more lung capacity than me would have to sit there.
No.
Can I ask, that could take a Zoom program, for example? And
You could do an outdoor Zoom program. That'd be okay, I guess. Kind of strange, but okay. I mean, I guess the reason to have Zoom is because you can't get together in person. If you can get together in person outdoors, I don't think you need to
the
do
person would be live, yeah.
Yeah, unless
Well, sometimes the
you got
speakers are
committee
far
members
away.
unless you got committee members or the like who really don't want to be there in person but want to partake even though everybody else is meeting outdoors. Sure, then go ahead. That makes sense.
I'll look at Fund for Columbia County, see if I can, this is this wellness runs for 2 years, so maybe they'll let me slip in another one.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah, who knows? I'll find out.
Okay.
Our Zoom programs are the first time we've had fully accessible programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what, Kim? That is an outstanding point to make. So,
You just gave me a sentence in the grant, Kim.
okay. I see that Vicky would like to jump in. Scrolling to see who else. Vicky, go ahead.
I got that. I put into the budget part that I had a battery speaker with a mic, something like this set up, a wire Bluetooth mic. Got the idea from some equipment that Mark had that he'd shown me. So if it doesn't get covered under Julie's program or your program, for the $300, I think we're going to get one hopefully for the library.
Good. Yeah, it seems like one way or the other, we're going to get this covered. I just want to make sure I understand and that Randy has in the minutes. Julie's going to look into funding for this from the NYSCA, New York State Council on the Arts, NYSCOA, which she has another name for. DEC. Kim's going to let us know about this $200 inflatable screen, which is a really interesting concept to me. I wonder what it looks like.
Yeah.
And Vicky's looking into a battery operated Bluetooth speaker system as well. All right, who's going to be the point person on this? I'm taking all that, I guess me? All right, I'll be there. Whatever you discover, send to me and I'll parse it out properly from there. How's that sound?
sounds good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carol. Do you have more, or if not?
That's enough. Yeah.
All right, take questions.
Hey,
for
Rick.
Carol.
Could you, so you're asking Julie to get back to you on what she learns about the art, from the Council on the Arts. And you're also asking who's going to get back to you on the screen?
I am.
Kim, in the inflatable screen.
Right.
All right.
And I'm going to see if the Fund for Columbia County will let us apply, even though we're funded for 2 years. There are other things we can do, that are COVID-like programs. That would.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say that again, Carol.
I'm going to see if the Fund for Columbia County will let me do another grant to apply for a series of COVID-related
Great.
materials. That maybe there are other things, that we haven't paid for yet. I know they don't want prepaid items.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
I had to get rid of AMC in the background because Alan Shartok came on and his voice cuts through everything else. Okay, thank you, Carol. Other points or questions for Carol? Hearing none, going. We're moving on to the strategic plan. Once again, oh, Rewind. Go ahead, Julie.
Thank you. Okay, so to report on my committee, the Arts and Culture, we look backwards, and the program that Kim Sykes did with Girl Be Heard was fabulous, just fabulous. So we had two young women who have worked with her who did a talk back. So we watched the video and then did a talk back. And Vicky, how many computers did we have on that one? Was it 22, 21?
It was people, not computers, people.
Okay. How many people? Was around 22, I think.
I wrote down 22.
22.
Computers, without knowing how many multiple viewers there were.
Well, I counted two when there were two people there. You could,
Oh, okay.
because it was, yeah, I could see them.
Okay, so anyway, that went really well. Our committee has met 2 times, and I will send the dates and times to.
Thank you.
And it was we did outdoor meetings. It was really lovely for us to get together. We've chosen a new theme for the programs for next year. We've been very serious the past number of years with civic engagement and community resilience, and we decided that the community needs a break. So the theme this year is travel, but it's going to be travel a melody, travel a line, travel a story, travel in time.
Oh.
Whoa.
And so we're having a lot of fun thinking about this, and you can do some serious things under that. All that we're planning at the moment are the arts programs, because we don't know about the budget yet for the whole library. And it's enough to plan these programs first, and then we'll look to extra programs. So we came up with a theme. The idea is that we're going to apply just for online programs or outdoor programs through next year, but if we'll have a secondary proposal, you know, for live programs if things change. But it seemed safest to plan for the current situation.
Yep.
I want to give a shout out to Kim Grathan, because the second time we met, there were actually 2 other meetings, ELIC and the Knitters, in the back of the library. So our committee decided we would meet somewhere else. And in order to choose artists, we really needed to be looking at a screen. And Rod brought out into the backyard under some pop-up tents the most amazing huge TV monitor. And I hooked up my computer, and we went to all the websites that I had located with the committee's help. And anyway, now we're in the process of approaching the artists to see if they want to do programs, and we have an incredible list. But Bonnie Rothenberg reached out to a woman, an African-American writer who writes children's books, and that program we can't have because her booking agent said that she would do a 45-minute live streamed program for a library for $2,500.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
So luckily,
And that's the nonprofit rate?
that's the nonprofit, right? Yeah.
Wow.
So she's doing very well.
Yeah.
Need us. And we'll get
hook up with 8 other libraries.
Yeah.
Put her on the donor list.
Right. So anyway, we're working on it, and it's going well. And we will have a holiday program of music for children. I'll tell you more about it next month. And I will be doing a program, but I haven't chosen a date for it yet, based on things around civil rights. So anyway, more information to come, but that's the update for now.
Hey,
Terrific.
Julie, that all sounds great. I was wondering if you could give me your theme again for next year.
I will send it to you. I'm going to send you tomorrow. I'll write up what I have said. And then.
Thank you.
Terrific. All right. Any other comments or questions for Julie before we move on?
Do you like the theme?
I
Love it.
do. I think
Yes,
that's
great.
great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So strategic plan. Dottie and I are going to present the marketing plan next month at the October meeting, and so that'll be the first month. We've been talking about this for almost a year, so about time we finally pull it off. So what we're going to do is each meeting in the coming year, we're going to review together one section of the strategic plan, update everybody on anything that's happened with regards to it, and then as a group decide whether to carry on or to adjust the strategic plan. So if we decide to adjust, it's going to take more than one meeting. It's going to take work between meetings, but it's the appropriate and right thing to do for the growth and stability and future of the library. So we will do that. October is the beginning of that process. Even though it's taken us a year to get there, we're finally going to do it. We're on library time now. So that's the strategic plan. However, I want to add one other note here. Randy, you have questions about the library hours because we have noted in the past that at the past meeting that the change in library hours was addressed in the strategic plan, but you have identified that somehow we haven't quite squared things up on that. So I'm going to let you take conversation here with Vicki and include the other board members as appropriate.
Yep. I remember that we discussed having the library operate with more hours. And I know this is not a time for us to be doing that, but it looks like we're open pretty close to our 28 hours that we used to be. We're open for 27 hours, but we're now open more during the day, and we've lost some of our evening hours, and we've cut down on the Saturday hours by an hour. And I would have thought that Saturday would be a really important time to have more hours of being open. It's the time when the weekenders can come in with their kids, and we have story time. Do we have people reading? We have story times. So I guess I wanted to talk about the library hours. Just maybe Vicki, you can explain what the process was for the decision on, I had a little note here about the hours, which I'm trying to find on my desk. How the opening hours were picked.
So originally we were open 32 hours? You said 28. Do I have my hours wrong? Let me see. Well, anyways.
Yeah, I have 28. But maybe I'm working from the magnet. Is the magnet not can you see it? That guy. That was, I don't know, maybe those weren't the valid old hours, but either way, it doesn't really matter whether it's 28 or 32, but we've shifted to more daytime hours.
Yeah, they're actually the last hour of being open. Well, first of all, this whole thing gave us an opportunity to make a change and to reassess it. And usually that last hour is just a time that I get to work, that hardly anybody comes in between 7 and 8. And one of the goals in the strategic plan was that we were open more during the day. So, and that was one of the ones that older people in particular, were saying, you're not open when I can come. I'm out doing my grocery shopping at 10 o'clock and this and that. And I want to come to the library then. And 2 o'clock was even too late for the people that were vocal about it. So this seemed like an opportunity. So as we re-engaged. We've gone to 12 to 7 on Monday. That's 9 hours. Tuesday and Wednesday is 5 hours each. And that's 2 to 7. And then Thursday and Friday and Saturday are all 4 to 7. Friday used to be closing at 6. We're now open to 7. And I was able to, get coverage for those times. So that, having coverage is part of the whole thing. Tuesday and Wednesday got switched around because that's when Craig can work. I'd have rather had him here on Thursday. He was working on Thursday. We just had to switch it because his class schedule was such that we had to go to that. And, we don't have a lot of people. We only have 2 people in here working at any one time. So we're not using all the volunteers that we used to use. So things are a little bit slower in terms of that. But our usage is down also. So right now, the way I count it, we're at 38 hours, which is more. We have expanded our hours and we have gone to an earlier time in the day, at least one day.
Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email. Maybe we could just have this discussion offline about the hours. And I'm wondering, now that you're discussing it, maybe because of this COVID thing and us having the little library computer more beneficial to have us open more during the day if kids need to access a computer or get to some of our library functions. What do you think about that?
Right now I've got a good plan and I've got people to cover them.
Okay.
So, that's, I'm not
Another
sure
reason,
what
yeah.
you wanted. I'm willing to discuss it, Randy, and see what you want, but I gotta, Vicki is not coming in. She's working Saturday, and Saturday again, we just delayed it an hour, and
Yeah.
usually it was quiet in the afternoon.
Another thing,
Yeah, maybe for this period of time.
Another thing to factor in, although it's not real certain, but my sense is a lot of our society home and homeschool, so there may be more schooling needs that we can meet by having the daytime hours. But again, I don't have raw data about how many that might involve, but I do know of people who are taking their kids out of school and going to homeschool.
Yeah.
As far as students needing computers, I can only speak for Ichabod Crane. They have given laptops to every single student.
Signed them out, yes.
Yes. You have to give it back at the end of the year or whenever this
I had
is.
no idea, yeah. No, I don't need one of them, I said to him. And I get home and I find out I'm supposed to have picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got ours today.
I think the Wi-Fi and the booster and all that is really important, and to continue. Oh, I did make it a little easier. I got tired of having people not be able to get on the internet, and I realized accepting our internet policy was hindering people. Julie knows. I think you were the 4th person that day that I dealt with it. So the Arrow Hive, now you're going to automatically and connect. So, I mean, I was sort of thinking.
I'm sorry, I didn't follow that last point.
Our internet has been a little difficult for people to get on because you'd go through the Arrow Hive router, of which never mind. Anyway, and you would have to accept our internet policy. Then you would be connected and redirected back. And it was too complicated for most people to be able to do, even people who knew that they were going to do it. It was, yeah, Julie.
So the other day I needed to upload a really big file And I took a chair and I went to the library to sit outside and use the internet because it's much better than in my house. And I had to call Vicky to figure out how to get online. Even I had trouble. Because the policy, you know, the acceptance policy didn't come up right away on my computer. It showed that I was sort of signed in, but I couldn't get any service. So it took several steps, even for me, you know, to figure it out and get it online. And next time I would know, but, you know, lots of people come to use the library and park in the parking lot to use the internet. And when the library is not open.
Did this happen because we went to the static IP address?
No. And because I do it all the time, I didn't realize it was becoming such a problem for some people, even people who are computer literate, you know. And in fact, you had trouble the other day, so, you know, right, getting on it too. So no, it had nothing to do with that. It's
Sorry, is there a way to simplify this? Cut a step out?
I did.
Oh. Yay.
Took the step out. Yeah. So it should work a lot easier now.
Cool. Good deal.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Nominating and governance. Okay. I want to know the name of the woman that used to live in the gigantic thing up on the hill, and has moved now to the four-way intersection at the end of Bunker Hill 32.
Ann Formel.
What is her name?
Ann Formel. F-O-R-M-E-L.
F-O-R-M-E-L. Ann with an E? Without an E?
No.
Okay.
Without an E.
Who knows anything about her besides the fact that she sold that house on the hill for big chunk of change, and that she seems to be doing a very nice job of renovating that house? Okay.
I know Ann.
She's very nice. Do you know her background? Does she have any
A
expertise?
little bit.
Okay. Did she have a career?
She did, but that was before she got married, and I know that she had a pretty high-paying job, and it was something, but I don't remember those particulars. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't think she got enough money for that house up there.
Well, however,
It's beautiful.
it was, well, it's beautiful from the inside. It looks like a wart on that hill, but, okay, I would like to approach her. So if anybody has her contact information, please forward it to me.
He signed in for some ELIC programs, so Vicky might have the emails someplace.
I've got it in my phone anytime you want it. Ann and I are friends, so.
Good, that's great. You don't necessarily have to tell her why I'm asking for it, but
Warn her?
no, yeah, no, they're right. It's a bad idea to warn people when I'm coming. The Chatham Dems have learned that. The town board has learned that. You know, everywhere I put my focus, people have learned to just let Rick run loose. All right. I would like to also know if anybody has met the artist that has moved in next to the post office, because maybe he would want to join Julie's committee. Certainly picked a beautiful color to paint that house.
Yeah.
Nobody knows him.
And whoever's painting the house is doing a fantastic job.
Our painter.
That's your man, Randy. That's your man.
Painter.
And Jones' man too.
Yep.
Okay, so nobody knows him. Okay.
Yeah.
Joan, you're closest.
Our painter knows him.
Who does?
I am close, but I don't know him. I'm Googling Ann Formel.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that was.
Maybe Sharon in the post office knows him.
I think Peter Heimstra told me a story about him. He knows him a little bit. You might just pull his ear.
All right. I'll
Share it
talk
at the post office.
Okay, Sharon and Peter H. Artist in Say House. You see how that works, Kim? That's why you're in the former Stoner house.
Right.
No, no, no.
I just like saying Kim lives in the Stoner house.
I know you do.
It kind of
We
sounds
live
like,
in the Ring House.
okay, that's actually true. But it just
No.
sounds like one of my off-campus party houses.
I
that's all.
know. Well, no.
Rick has a really good story about meeting somebody in California when he was trying to get some money from him. And he told the man, yeah, I live in North Chatham. And the man says, oh, I know North Chatham. And Rick says, I live in the Lee house.
Yeah.
Who used to live in that house?
I don't know if you've all heard this story, but it's the end of a long meeting. Somebody remind me to tell the story when we have more time. It's a good story. Or I could do it now if everybody's excited to hear it. Okay, so I want to learn about that artist in the Say House to see if he might be somebody who's personally interesting as well as being an artist, and might be an interesting cat to put on Julie's committee. Okay, there's that. Randy, down in Chatham Center,
Yep.
there's a guy with a mini house on a trailer parked in his driveway, the other side of 66 from you. You know, down the hill and then along 28B.
Okay.
Main Street in Chatham Center, basically.
Yeah, right in Chatham Center, but on the 28, whatever, 20, is that B, A, C, D, whatever that 28 is.
All right. A mini house on a trailer on 28B.
Yep.
I don't think I go down that area very much.
Okay. I happen to learn in a sideways way that he is an interesting person who has been very successful in real estate flips. So, and is younger than me, which means he's young, because I'm still young. All right, I don't know. Ask around you. I don't know. If you ever have a chance to ask, I'd like to see if we can't get another Chatham Center person, and he might be a candidate.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other person that I was thinking of trying to find out more about is obviously the person that lives across the hill from Ann Marshall. And I will talk to Ann about that person. But obviously whoever moved in there has children, because they put a children at play sign up at the end of the driveway. And I almost slammed on the brakes and pulled up the driveway when I saw that sign. So I'm looking for any insights on that person before I do pull up the driveway. And if anybody can ask around and find out, I would very much appreciate it. A little
I
back,
think
always helpful.
Ann Marshall knows them because they wanted a tree from her yard and they paid for the removal or the transplanting of it onto their property.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I'm seeing Anne tomorrow. I can ask her.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Okay, that's great, Dale. Thank you. All right.
Also, Rick, another person is the president of the Columbia Green College, lives down the road from me. Carly Drummer.
Carly?
She came to the Chase the Chill party.
Oh, can you give me an introduction or at least contact information?
Yep. And then I sent you a contact for a woman who works for Scholastic Books. Melissa knows her, and so does Dottie. She's got a painting at her house. She is a book distributor or works for Scholastic Books or something like that.
Yeah, in the children's section. You know, I dropped the ball on that. If you could dig that email up and send it to me, it'd be great.
Okay. All right, so a lot of action items here, which I forgot to write down. I'm doing something new with our minutes based on a suggestion from Carol. You guys will love it when you see it. It's going to be a surprise.
Yay.
You go, Carol. You go. All right.
Multicolored minutes, you know.
So I'm putting it back out again. I want to contact, or, I mean, don't be shy. Just go introduce yourself to our new neighbors as they move into the neighborhood, because a bunch of houses have turned over. A couple in their 60s who sound very interesting bought Deb Koivula's house. Obviously,
They're in wine or something, aren't they? She was
They
saying,
what?
Deb was saying that they have something to do with wine.
Yeah, that's right, actually. Dale, maybe you and I will be visiting them. And with Randy.
We should have a pet. We should have, where at minimum, we give them a registration. You know, here's our library, fill out your library card, you know, application here.
That is a great way to do an introduction. You're right.
Yes.
So I'll take one of those when I go up the long driveway on 17, for example.
Yeah. Rick, have you
Yes.
ever considered talking to Alex Marr or Todd Belenko? Are they interested at all or not?
Yes, Todd is more interested in working with the Chatham Dems. Alex said she needed to finish a major project before she could consider. But you want to know what? It's time to go back and ask her if she has, if she's finished that project and if she's willing to talk about it.
I'm about to talk to her, Rick. She's one of the people our committee is interested in having present next year. So I'm about to call her. I can ask her about where she is with current projects.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I think booking her for your program would be an awesome first step introduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. There's another person I'm interested in knowing if anybody has any interaction with. And if you give me a second, I think I can pull up his name here. I have his contact information. Patrick Haggerty. He lives in a small white house on Bunker Hill, on the Chatham side of Bunker Hill, not on the Skodak side. He's a redheaded guy with a nicely trimmed redheaded beard. Goes to work every day in a button-down shirt. Has a very beautiful family, a wife and two daughters. That all four of them are redheads. Anybody met Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have?
I know who that is.
Yeah.
But have you met him?
They used to come in when the kids were small. They would come in. As again, our early literacy thing, they would all come in then.
Okay.
They're older now.
Do you
Patrick
have
was always very pleasant.
Do you remember Pat's wife's name?
I'm not very good at names. I do not. I should know it, but I don't know
I'm Rick.
it. I'm gonna mute my.
Okay. I have his home number, the 766 number. So I think I'll just call him and say, hey, your kids used to come to these programs. I want to stop by and talk to you about the library. All right. 2 more people moved into Bunker Hill on the Chatham side of the line. Somebody's in Jack Lee's old house, and then that really nice little one-story next to Jack Lee. So between Jack Lee's old house and the house they just tore down at the corner of the horse farm in Bunker Hill. Anybody? And that person, I think, is also like an artistic type of person. I don't know why I think that, but I heard that from somebody. Nope. Okay. All right, that's what I've got for now. But what I want to do is every time a house sells in North Chatham, Chatham Center, even Malden Bridge, so I'll talk to Cindy about this. I want to know who bought the house, who they are, what their background is, and when I can go talk to them. Those are the four things I need to know. Who they are. So if you're thinking of recruiting for the library, I'll go do the work, but I need some background. I need their names. I'd love to know what their backgrounds are, and whatever else I mentioned.
Contact info.
Oh, if they're library users. Yep, or if they're already library users. So, but this is a good lead. We got Ann Formel. We've got the artists in the Say House. I think most likely for Julie's committee, but who knows, that could lead to more. Carly Drummer, president of Columbia Green.
Yep, that's me. I'll get you the contact.
All right. Pat Haggerty, Alex Marr, also for Julie's committee. You know, if I can't get Todd, I think Todd might be able to both do work for the Chatham Dems, but maybe also be a resource for the library without being a formal committee member or something. I mean, all of his work is in production. So I've had in mind that once we really get our marketing plan in place, that, you know, the next more sophisticated step would be to talk to Todd about what can be done with video regarding the library. You know, so when we come to do the 414, instead of just a static ad at the Crandall, maybe we could talk to the Crandall about a 30-second video ad. And also with the construction project. Todd's that kind of a resource. So,
we just looked at his work and it is amazing.
Yes. If you want to know, if you want to look for, what is it? It's Lux.
Right.
If you want to look at his website,
yeah.
Lux, L-U-X content, just Google that. And you will see that he does advertising, he does short films, he does long films, he does anything that has to do with structuring and producing video content. Very cool to have someone like that in the neighborhood. And then the other person is the Scholastic Books person. Randy, you got to remind me who that is. Oh no, who brought that up?
I'm on task. I'm on task for that. So I've got Carly Drummer, and then the Scholastic book. I'm the person for that.
Okay, and I'll track down the Dan guy who has the tiny house on a trailer in his driveway. I know how to get this. So, all right. That's enough of that, unless somebody else has some brilliance to share. We'll go on to new business. Here's the new business. I want a sense of the board. I don't think we need a formal motion and vote, but I want a sense of the board that everybody is cool with launching the 15-minute reservation-only browsing. Anybody have any concerns or problems? Hearing none.
I have a question. Vicki,
Great.
Thank you.
how cool are you with this?
I'm promoting it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we are not serving all the people, and we got to stay as service to the community to stay vibrant.
Yep.
Okay.
Along those fronts, Vicki, I also thought that on a really nice, bright, sunshiny weekend day, with whatever hours we now have on the weekends, then maybe we can put a table out with new arrivals in the front yard and let people browse new arrivals outdoors. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay. I had one. All right. Hearing no other comments or concerns, with a good sense that the board approves, we're going to go, and just before I stop there, does anybody feel that this needs a motion and a vote? No. Okay. Randy, make sure that makes the minutes, please. That the board did not feel the need for a vote, but there's a strong sense that we should go ahead with the 15-minute reservation program that was described earlier in the meeting.
Got it.
Great.
Yeah, when we set up our COVID plan, it had built into it that we would adapt as situations change.
That's right.
We're adapting.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Kim. That's excellent content for that. All right. Any other new business? We covered all the old business during the regular agenda items. So if there's no new business, adieu. This meeting is adjourned.
Adieu.
Au revoir
Thank you.
until
Au
October.
revoir.
Bye.
Next board meeting is October 8th, 7 p.m. via Zoom once again. Henry, go to bed early, get up early, be wealthy.
Done. Done. Sorry.
All right. Love you all. Peace
Thank
out.
you.
Aw.